Hi, my name is Ashton Shaw, and this is my report on the Ramie fiber. The Ramie, it comes from a flowering plant that is in the nettle family, and the word Ramie actually comes from the ancient Malaysian word Malayan. And the Ramie is one of the oldest fibers that we've been able to, I guess, identify or date back. And it was used in amongst the ancient Egyptians. They would use it to wrap their mummies in because it's a really good fabric to preserve things with. And so that dates back to 5,000, between 5,000 to 3,000 BC. And then Ramie, it was also cultivated in China way before cotton in about 1300 AD. And then I guess if you're gonna give credit to someone who I guess discovered Ramie, even though it had been used for thousands of years prior. The man who usually comes up, his name is George Eberhard Rumpf, and he is credited with discovering Ramie in the East Indies in 1690. And Ramie was then introduced into Europe in about 1733, and the commercial production of Ramie began in Western Europe in 1930. And the first Ramie crops that were established within the United States happened to be in Florida, and that was in the year 1855. And Ramie gained a lot of popularity in the mid 1980s as it was sustainable and durable and a great material to make clothes out of. So, how is Ramie fiber produced or made? So, there's kind of, I guess, there's like 3 to 4 main steps. So, the first one is harvesting. You have to harvest the plant, and then the stems can be cut or bent to break. And then you're going to strip the cortex. And then this is where decortication comes in, and that's where the cortex or bark is removed from the stem. And this can be done either manually or by machine. And then comes the scraping part. The cortex is scraped to remove the outer bark and any other materials that are not needed. And then finally, the remaining cortex material is washed and dried and it's degummed to extract the spinnable fiber. The Ramie fiber can then be spun into yarn and then eventually woven into fabric. So here is a little short video showing the kind of the process of the fiber extraction. Perfect. Kind of cool how um, a plant can be turned into a fiber, which then can be woven into fabric. So some of the properties of Ramie is actually a really great fabric, and some of the most notable properties is its strength. Ramie is actually about 8 times stronger than cotton and silk, and it's extremely durable, so that favors it as a fabric to be used in clothing, in household items, and things like that. Ramie is also incredibly absorbent. It's able to absorb moisture very well, which makes it really comfortable to wear during warmer weather or warmer months. Ramie is also a resistant type of fabric, type of fiber. It's resistant to things like bacteria, mildew, pests, and this was a big reason of why the ancient Egyptians used Ramie to wrap the mummies in, because they obviously did not want pests or bacteria getting all over the mummies. So that's what made that popular. And then Ramie also has great shape retention. It can hold its shape, which helps to reduce wrinkling. And Ramie does also not shrink. So that's a really awesome benefit to it. You don't have to worry about it switching sizes on you. There are several other trade names for Ramie. Some of them I have listed here are China grass, again, because Ramie was mainly cultivated over in China. That's a big reason. Our grass linen, Chinese silk, rhea, and Chinese nettle, since it does come from a plant that's related to the nettle family. Here is a example from our swatch kit. This is number 3. I believe it's called the handkerchief Ramie fabric. I might be a little off on that, but it's this one right here, the little brown square. So that's cool to get to see a swatch. And then there are multiple uses for Ramie and results. Ramie, like I mentioned earlier, it's used in a lot of clothing. In pants, I got a picture of some pants there on the left, and then a picture of a dress on the right. It's also used for blouses, for blazers, things like that. It is also used for home furnishings, so things like tablecloths, this white tablecloth in the middle, napkins, curtains, etc. And likewise, it's used for household items, so things like dish towels and placemats. And here's an example of that right there in the middle. And then here is my works cited page, and then here is my works cited page for all the images that I included in the presentation. But thank you so much for watching.